Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mindful Witchery.
This is another example of how we were just sitting here having the greatest conversation and said to ourselves, we should be recording this.
We need to make a t-shirt. We should be recording this.
Yes,
Mindful
absolutely.
Witchery podcast. So we were just catching up. Lori and I didn't get together last week, but we are together this week, and it is hot.
Hot.
It is hot.
And humid.
It reminds me of, the Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams. It was like, Good Morning Vietnam. Oh, it's like, it is hot. I forget what else he says.
It is so gross outside. It's like you can feel the moisture. It is so gross.
Yeah.
I don't like this kind of weather because I think everything smells bad outside when it's like this.
It does.
I don't know. It's weird.
It does. Yeah, my car smells awful.
Mine does too.
Mine's clean too. Yeah,
I know, mine was too. I went and washed my car and everything, and now all of a sudden it smells really weird and yuck.
Yeah,
of course,
it's like 90-something% humidity or something.
I think that my son may have a pair of his tennis shoes in the back of the car, so that may be the smell I'm smelling. Exactly. Dirty teenage boys. Yuck.
But we are officially in summer? Are we? Almost.
I think it's June 21st.
June 21st. Yes. Yeah, I think you're right.
The vernal equinox.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it is.
I never keep track of the summer stuff. Mm-hmm. Like Beltane, and then I basically am on a witch hiatus till about fall, and then Samhain happens, and then...
Fall is the witchy time, yes. And we're halfway to Halloween, I think, is what I read somewhere.
Yes, it just hit the 150 mark. Mm-hmm. Do you know that people celebrate, it's called summer Halloween, or it's like halfway Halloween, where instead of pumpkins, people get together and with their witchy friends and carve watermelon.
Oh, that's so cool.
I saw a ton of pictures from this weekend. I'm like, we totally need to do that.
Oh, that reminds me, I have yummy watermelon all cut up and ready to go in the...
Do you?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
That's my favorite thing.
This is the hardest time of year, though. I don't know. I as much as I'm enjoying watching my kid grow up, this is the time of year when it gets really, really hectic. He decided back, it was 2 months ago that he didn't want to go to prom. And then 2 weeks ago, he says, we changed our minds. He and his girlfriend changed their minds. They want to go to prom. Less than 2 weeks before the actual prom. So we had to go out. We had to order his tux online. We had to rent a tux online from Men's Warehouse. And I have to say, I'm going to plug Men's Warehouse. Even though we're not sponsored by them, I have to say, getting a tux here, literally, we did the measurements. We filled them in online. The tux was here in 2 days.
That's amazing.
Then the pants didn't fit right. I didn't like the way the pants fit. So I ordered another pair of pants here in 2 days.
That's crazy.
And all you have to do is mail it back. They send you the tape to tape the box back up. They send you the address label for FedEx. They send you everything.
That's amazing.
All you got to do is drop it in a box, a FedEx box.
That's fantastic.
It's so cool.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, it's one of those things. Haircuts, corsages.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never went to my proms, Lori. That was not my jam. I wanted nothing to do with it.
You know what? Both years, my best friend and I, we went together.
Oh, nice.
We turned down dates and we went together.
That's awesome.
Yep, we had a really, really good time. But it's not one of those. Prom isn't one of those things that rank really highly up there with my high school memories. Yeah. I mean, it was fun. It was okay. You got to get dressed up, which was kind of cool when you're a teenager. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't rank in the top 5 experiences I had in high school.
I feel like not the media, movies and stuff always hype up prom and is it really like that? I don't know.
Especially in the 80s when I was going to prom. 86, 87. Oh my gosh, you had 16 candles that came out.
Tell me about your dress. Was it big and pink and poofy?
I'm seriously going to post pictures of my dress. The first year, my junior year, it was blue. It was this beautiful blue, like a sky blue color. And it was like a long formal dress. And then it had these puffy sleeves. And it was off the shoulder. And then the second year, I swear I looked like I was going to get married. But I wanted a white dress for some reason. So it was white and it was T-length. Ooh. So that was pushing the envelope.
That's awesome.
And it had ruffles and it was sleeveless.
I can picture it, Lori.
Oh my gosh. And it was so exciting to be able to get dressed up. Yeah. And then to see your friends all dressed up because you don't usually see them that way. But it's still, I think of all the things that happened to me in high school and the fun that I had in high school. That's not in the top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay. By the end of the night, I was sweating and I was ready to go home.
Yeah. Do you do like after party stuff or anything like
I think
that?
I did my senior year. My junior year, I had to be home. My parents were like, "You have to be home by da-da-da-da-da-da." So I was there, and then I guess they were just tired of me by senior year, so they let me do whatever I wanted to as far as that goes. But
you and your puffy sleeves.
Oh, me and my puffy sleeves. Oh man,
80s prom dresses. Oh,
they're the best.
They just do it for me.
And you know, when I went home, it was probably, I don't know, sometime a couple of years ago. I was out in my mom's, she has like a she shed sort of thing outside the house, but it's still like completely covered. It's not outside per se.
Oh, okay.
You just have to walk through a breezeway to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's where she kept all her stuff.
Yeah.
And she goes, "You need to go out there and see what you want to keep." She said, I'm gonna try to throw some stuff away, and you need to go out there and see if there's any crafts or report cards or whatever. I'm like, "Mom, I'm not going to have to present my report cards in a job interview, so I really don't think I want them." And I went out there, and I couldn't believe it. In a dress bag. Okay, keep in mind, at that time, I was probably 48, 49. Both of my prom dresses.
Oh, my
Both
God.
of them.
Oh, my God.
Like, Mom,
that's amazing.
I assumed that you threw them away. Now we're just going to say it's going beyond assumption. You need to throw them away. And she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. And I finally talked her into it a couple years later that she finally did. But it was just, she's like, "You look so beautiful in your prom dresses." And then she had to get out the pictures. And I was like, "Oh, Mom.
No.
Oh, Mama."
That's awesome.
That was in there with my band jacket. Because I was
nice.
a band geek.
Did it have like the little tassels on the shoulders?
It had. Well, it was my because we got athletic jackets like the athletic people got. We had we lettered in band, so we had the letter and any of our medals that we'd gotten. Yeah. So I literally had a band.
That's amazing.
Jacket.
Oh.
Because I was a band geek. I was one of those. Remember last year at band camp when? Yeah.
I would never got into any of that. I was not
band was
involved.
It for me.
Yeah, I wish I could. I just like in our school, the big group was the theater kids.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sing. I can't dance. I am not talented in that way. So I just couldn't. I just did not fit in. I didn't fit in anywhere. I was my own.
Oh my gosh!
Circle.
I was in marching band, symphonic band, concert band, jazz band. Band was all there was for 4 years. And you know, the night of graduation, when I walked through the line and got my diploma, that was the last time I played a clarinet.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not tooting my own horn, haha.
Toot it.
But I was like first chair, and I was really good. I used to go to band camp every year. I went to solo contests.
That's amazing.
I always got superiors at solo contests. I was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I something happened that night, and I was like, I'm tired of this. 4, 5, 6 years of band.
Wow. It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah.
Like something ends and you're just like, I'm done.
I was done.
Yeah, you're done.
And then it was really funny because a few years ago, my son decided he wanted to be in band when he was in 6th grade. He no longer is in band and wasn't, I think, after 7th or 8th grade. Yeah. But he wanted to play the clarinet, so we went out and got him a clarinet, and we brought it home, and I thought, I'm going to see if I can still play. And by golly, it's like riding a bike.
Yep.
It is just like riding a bike. It took me a few minutes to get my embouchure correct, but I got it, and sure enough, I remembered songs.
That's amazing. That's
I remembered
so cool.
songs. Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, it reminds me of a story, like, you know Lizzo, right? The singer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she plays the flute, and she's brilliant at playing the flute, but I've watched a bunch of, like, stories of her life, and she she was a super band geek, and she ended up playing the flute, but, like, she didn't think it was cool, so she gave it up for a while, and then she just, like, I think it was after her father died, she just, like, brought it back, and, like, a huge part of her show is, like, her, like, jamming out on this flute and dancing and just rapping and singing. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'll try to post a video for it. It's fantastic.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to dance or sing or rap with my clarinet, and a clarinet's a lot geekier instrument than a flute.
Can you imagine just, like, up there with a clarinet?
Oh, yeah. Like Squidward from SpongeBob.
Oh, my God. Oh, or Anchorman. When he has the little piccolo, and he's like...
And I was at a yard sale. It wasn't too long ago, and I saw a piccolo for sale. And I thought,
really?
I should really buy this and try to learn to play the piccolo. No.
No.
I don't have enough time in my life
No more
to learn
hobbies.
an instrument. No more
Yeah.
hobbies.
I'm on the
good.
no more hobbies train right now. I am not allowed to take on any more hobbies until I actually finish the ones that I'm doing.
And I have promised Roger, my husband, that I will not take up any other hobbies.
Yep.
Because that's what I do. I will take up a hobby, and then I'll invest in it, and then I just stop doing it.
Yep.
And that's probably the ADHD.
You just wake up one day and you're like, no.
No, I don't want to knit that sweater. I know I've been knitting for 3 years now, and I have a whole basket full of yarn, but I don't want to knit anymore.
It is. It is the ADHD. I'm the same way, and I drive Carson nuts.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, it's so weird. It's like you have so much, it's like your brain has so much focus and passion for this thing, and literally you wake up one day, and it switches interests.
Yeah.
And it's almost like instead of doing something that you love, it's like somebody's asking you to go wash the toilet. It's like the same, like, oh, no, I'm good. It's weird. I hate it sometimes. I really do.
I know. I wish I was more, like, steadfast in my ability to do that, but I just can't.
Yeah.
Woe is us.
It's very difficult to be so talented in so many things.
I know. What will we ever do with ourselves?
It's a pro of ADHD, I think.
I think we're multi-talented in a lot of areas. We just can't necessarily juggle all those areas without something dropping.
Yeah, and we try. We're very great multitaskers to a point.
With lists.
Yeah, with
as long as there's a list.
Lists are very important. And right now mine's art. I got back into doing art again.
Yay!
And that's always kind of been a consistent, though. But I've been doing that again. And I opened up, I'm going to be doing a couple commissions. I've been doing commissions, actually, again, which is nice. And I never thought I would go back to doing that again, but it's been really nice.
Well, and that's the thing I think, too, is that it's not necessarily that we leave something and leave it forever.
Yeah.
We leave it, and then we go back to it.
Oh, yeah, when we need to.
Unfortunately, by the time I'm ready to go back to it, I've lost it.
Yeah.
Like, if it's knitting, where did I put that set of knitting needles? Where did I put that yarn?
Yeah.
You know.
And that's, like, too much effort. Your brain's like, nope.
No, not really.
Yeah, art's always been this, like, thing. Like, I'll do different things, but I think when I got done with school, my brain's just like, I need something to keep me on the schedule. So it immediately went to doing art, and it was such a good transition, I think. I'm glad that I started doing art while I was still in school, and I just, like, made that transition. I think it's something that I have to remind myself to do. Make sure you have something else in
And I think it's really one of the best things about this, if there's anything good to say about the pandemic and the isolation, has been that people have developed these very cool talents.
Yeah. Right? Because they were given the space.
People who couldn't cook for shit
are
cooking like chefs now. They're
bread.
Like Gordon Ramsay, you know. And, I mean, I've seen people grow exponentially in the things that they're willing to put themselves out there and do. I have a friend who does flower arrangements that are out of this world. She had never touched a flower arrangement before she started doing this. But she saw a video one day, and she does these really artsy flower arrangements. Very, very beautiful. And then I have a friend who, yes, like you said, started baking bread. And she makes these very fancy loaves.
Oh, that's awesome.
And just people coming out of the woodwork doing things that they never thought they could do before, which is so neat.
I almost feel like it's because so many of us stayed home, right? And so many of us were on that, like, hamster wheel. Like, I got to go to work. I got to take care of the kids. I got to do this. I got to do that. And it's like, when we were forced to step away from it, we were able to see how unhappy we were.
Absolutely. And
So
how understimulated we were.
Understimulated we were. How, like, a lot of us weren't fulfilling our needs, and we thought that we were because we were so used to those feelings of, okay, I got to go to work, I got to do these things. But I love that people have been able to, not everybody, but people have been able to step back and watch a YouTube video and be like, oh my God, like,
people have learned to sew, knit, do all kinds of, like, origami. I've seen people who do origami who couldn't put a piece of paper in a fold of 4 before are now doing origami and swans and whatnot.
Starting businesses.
Yeah.
And, like, awesome. Like, I started doing art again because of the pandemic. And I'm like, I forgot. It was like this hole in me was missing. I forgot how much I needed it because I was so busy trying to run a business and make it and make money and take care of everything else and everybody else. And I'm like, I was forced to take a step back, and my mental health has never been better, honestly.
I have friends who a lot of friends have gone into the T-shirt business.
Yeah.
And they went out and bought one of those fancy crickets, made the investment, and now they're at home owning their own business, selling to people all over the world with these cool designs that they're doing on their own, or taking designs. Like, I have a friend who I send her designs. I'm like, could you do this? And I'm thinking it's crazy, and she says to me, oh, that sounds really neat.
That's
and then
awesome.
she does it.
I love that.
It's just so cool.
It's cool. I hope, like Lori and I before this were talking about kind of the paradigm that we're in right now about like transitions and going back to the way quote unquote things used to be, and how a lot of us are having a hard time.
And are they ever? I think when you really start to process what's happening, I think we all realize that things are never going to be quote unquote normal again.
If that was even a thing.
It's a new kind of normalcy, and it's so very confusing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, not just the social aspect of it, which is daunting at best. I mean, I've forgotten how to talk to people.
It was daunting before.
Yeah. I mean, for introverts, it's something seriously daunting about it, and now it's super daunting because I think we're just going to end up with a bunch of socially awkward people for a while.
Yeah. Not
knowing what to say. I mean, we were talking about the idea of, gathering in groups, and the whole puzzle that you have to fit together of, are people vaccinated, or are they not? And how do we know? We're making these rules based on, if you're vaccinated, you can you can go in these stores, you can meet with people, big groups of people, you can go to a concert where there's 9,000 people.
Yeah.
But how do you know that somebody's been vaccinated? Yeah. And do you have a right to ask? Do you have a right to know? It's all this stuff that
we've never dealt with before. And it's a lot of, and I feel like too, there's so many factors always, like systemic, mental, physical. There's so many factors, and we've all been through all this trauma, and we were not taught how to deal with something like this. A lot of us,
not at all,
in our lifetime, all of our perspectives about the world and our lives and what we value have changed for all of us. I think very rarely that there's going to be a person who says their perspective didn't change because of all the political turmoil everybody's been going through in the United States and globally, and just systemically, not getting political, but like the response from our healthcare system wasn't that great. Not got on the government level. I'm just going to say it. And a lot of us suffered because of it. And
people were dying and dying and dying and dying.
We were not taught to deal with this. So a lot of us are trying to figure out these traumas
and how all the
I don't know what to do.
all the PPE equipment came out really late.
Yep.
We were short.
Yep. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, doors open. Yeah. How do you deal with that? And we're not taught how to deal with it.
No, we're not, because nobody knows how. And it's perspective and also context.
Yeah.
Our perspective has changed, but also our entire context, the entire shape of the world has changed.
It's like trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole now. Like, it doesn't work anymore. A lot of the way we were thinking doesn't work. And I think the struggle that we're having is so many people are trying to go back to the way it used to be because in their minds it was less traumatic. In their minds it was better because people do not like change. And so we're going through all of that.
Well, one thing I went to my son's girlfriend's graduation this weekend. She was salutatorian, by the way. Congratulations, Jordan.
That's fantastic.
And one of the things that the principal of the school said during his speech was that we have learned, one of the biggest things we've learned is that people who are working at work in a physical building don't necessarily have to be there all the time.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of working at home because it can be, we've discovered that it can be done.
Yeah.
Much more than it was being used
and it's
before.
A lot more efficient too. And like, isn't that crazy?
It's
we were
crazy.
just never given, because we're so stuck in our ways here in America.
It's like a 1950s mentality almost.
Yeah.
You leave home, you kiss your kids, you kiss your wife, goodbye. You go to work, you work from 9 to 5, you come home.
Yeah. It does not work anymore.
It does
not work. And I don't understand why. And I see a lot of guilt too, right? People are trying to just like be part of society again. People just want to see their friends and go back to work. And I feel so bad because people are realizing that like, oh, it doesn't work. I don't know what to do. It doesn't work.
I'm stuck.
And it's like this thing like I'm so unhappy because I'm trying to fit into how society wants me to be, and everybody's just like is almost like too afraid to be like, this isn't working. I don't want to go back to the 9 to 5. It doesn't work. We need to figure out something.
Yeah, it's things are going to be so different, and it's going to be just like we walked through this whole COVID disaster. We're going to have to walk through the aftermath. And we're going to have to figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
And I hope that we do a better job of really analyzing what was wrong. We should know by now. We should be able to look and see back before pandemic what was wrong. What were we doing wrong? What were we doing right?
Yeah.
How can we put it back together again? How can we change it to make it better? There's just so much to think about. And I would love to hear, we would love to hear from you guys if you want to post on the Instagram page or on the Facebook page and just let us know how you're handling this transition back into the world.
Yeah, has it been good for you? Like, has there been things that you've learned that has your whole life changed? That's what I hear the most is my perspective has changed. I've changed who I've hung out with. I've changed what I'm capable of doing, who I'm willing to tolerate. I feel like that's a big one.
Absolutely.
A lot of people took this as an opportunity to get rid of toxic people in toxic environments that they felt forced to have to deal with, which is, I think, wonderful. I know for myself, I've definitely gained a lot of perspective about who I let in my life, even more than I did before the past couple of years.
I think people are searching more inward now than they used to be, too. They're searching for their own satisfaction and their own peace. They're searching inside themselves rather than depending on other people to make them happy.
Yeah.
I think more people are looking at wellness, different ways of wellness as a factor that is more important than they thought.
Yeah.
They're not looking at things like Reiki and meditation as woo as much anymore. It's
it's a lot more common, which is cool.
Yes, which is a lot. It is. It's great to see, not just for business, but also just for state of mind.
Yeah.
So, we would love to hear how you are handling these crazy transitional times.
Yeah, because it's like I'm struggling a little bit.
I know I'm struggling.
I'm struggling. Like, I think that since school got over, that space for me has opened up. So I'm like, okay, like I've had all these plans after my summer break to find a job and to get things moving again in certain ways, and none of it has worked out. So it's kind of like, how do I expect to be part of society again when all these things are like roadblocks and basically signs that are telling me like, no, that's not the direction anymore? And it's overwhelming. I've had a hard time being around other people.
It is hard, and I think not just like the people who, like, in terms of their energy, but I find it hard to tolerate the noise.
Yes. 100%.
I love my job, and I love the kids, and I love the people that I work with. But when I get in the car to go home, I cannot turn on the radio and listen to music.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like I have to reset. I have 20 minutes to get home. And while I'm there, I'm loving the noise and I'm loving the people. But then I get in the car and I have to reset.
Sensory overload.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are experiencing sensory overload now because we've been.
That's what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I think that's exactly. And when you have ADHD, it feels more intense. I don't know, like if you don't have it, it's hard to explain. So it's like the volume. The volume has been turned up, and on 14 different volumes of radio.
And on 4 or 5 different channels.
Yeah, and you can try to listen to each one. It just isn't working. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like lately. It's I've been like struggling in that way. So I think art right now has been the best for me, and I've actually have met really cool people online lately. And I never thought I would say that I've been making friends for people I've never met before. But I've been doing a lot of art community related stuff. Like people have been jumping online, like live streaming, doing art. And like, you know, it's on Twitch. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But like there's a lot of artists on there that get on and do art. And you could be like, you could chat with them while they're doing art.
Cool. Yeah.
It has been one of the best things for me socially, even though I know it's like pretty common for a lot of people who are younger, but like this is a whole new thing for me that I'm actually making friends who I've never met. It's cool though, and I'm glad it's there. And I almost feel like too, so many people have relied on the internet and things like that over the past year and a half. I think that's another part of the struggle is people are having a hard time pulling away from that structure that has been that happy spot for them and getting back and being around people again.
In the physical presence of people.
Physical presence, because when you're dealing with somebody online, you could just walk up. You can like get up and walk away, or if a conversation's not going the way you want, you could surround yourself by the people that you want. But in the real world, in an office, there's a lot of different personalities, there's a lot of different opinions, and I don't think people have the tolerance for it anymore.
And I think, too, social media kind of gives you this, in a lot of cases with a lot of people, I think it gives them this false courage.
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of animosity, not just because of, you know, the elections and all the things that have been going on, but because people get this false sense of entitlement or courage. And I wonder what's going to happen when we go back into the real world setting. Are these people going to have the gumption and the guts to say the things that they would have said online? I almost think we're going to go back to almost a sense of normalcy there, because people who have that internet courage don't have that courage outside of the internet.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a lot of the people who are being real a-holes on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
They're going to go back to being inward, shy, non-vocal, keeping to themselves. I think I almost think that's going to go back to almost a normal.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Yeah, I'm curious because I'm not sure. Although I do think people are way more vocal than they used to be, which a part of me has a lot of pros, and a part of me is just like, oh God, like. And
you have to remember, we live in New England, so it's a very vocal dynamic here.
Yeah.
People will argue over pretty much anything.
Yeah, or they do the, well, actually. Well, actually, you're wrong, and this is why, I'm right.
Yes. And that's a New England thing, I'm sure. And it's, I mean, there's so many things that we have to think about in terms of this world becoming more outward once again. And I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to hugging people again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go out and hug everybody at Walmart, but I mean, or Stop and Shop, but I'm certainly going to hug my friends and probably make it weird because I'm going to hug for a long time.
Yeah. I'm in the same space.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel. I guess it depends on the day. Like, a part of me really wants to go back and find a job working around people again and collaborating and, like, talking to people who have the same interests. And then a part of me is just like, I don't want to go back into the same system that affected me mentally and physically. And I am not willing to put my health over a job ever again.
No, me either.
Ever again. And to have that value in going back into the world is very difficult.
I'm at a place where I have to really enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And if I don't enjoy it, then I'm not going to go back.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm there. I'm totally there. I was there before the pandemic. But it was, I just feel like now, and I feel very grateful that I have that option. Because I know a lot of people don't have that option.
Yeah. I've definitely been there where I didn't.
Me too.
Yeah.
But now that I can, I would absolutely walk away from a job that I felt like was causing me mental, physical anguish. I would walk away.
I've come too far.
I mean, we don't advise anybody to do that because we don't know your situation.
Yeah.
But for us, that's where we are.
Yeah, I'm not willing to work for $10 an hour being a manager anymore.
No.
I'm not willing to do it. Or $11 an hour or $15 an hour being a manager. It's just not going to happen. And I know I feel very lucky to be able to say that,
Mm-hmm.
but I've spent too much money and I've come too far to get sick again.
Mm-hmm.
Not worth it.
Absolutely.
Not worth it for a job.
I think we just have to take it one
Yeah.
day at a time.
Woo.
You know, one day at a time.
Yeah. It's important to talk about.
Yep. So please, guys, think about this. Think about what you're looking forward to in the transition and what you're not looking forward to, and how maybe we can make some changes in the way we look at things, our perspective on things, to make it a smoother type of transition back into the world, back into living, back into not so much isolation.
Yeah. Try to be easy on yourself,
Yep.
because you are not alone. You're not alone
Definitely
at all.
not.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you for listening. And we love each and every one of you. And we will talk to you soon.
Bye.